Alright, so today is January 3rd, 2018, out here on the East Boulder bike path trails, well, paved asphalt bike path, which is great for road marathon training. Fairly flat, you've seen a lot of workouts out here. Back in Boulder, flew back yesterday from sea level, out in Oregon. Switch hands, I'm tired. We're doing an up-tempo run today, about a 6 mile, a little less than 10K up-tempo run, because we're only 11 days out from the Houston Marathon, and like I said, traveled back last night, starting to taper the mileage a bit. Probably will still run about 90, at least 90 miles per week, but no hard workouts, no more hard workouts. You saw one of the hardest workouts was at 2 times 8K or 2 times 5 miles last week. Did that at sea level with my brother, pacing on the bike on an asphalt track. Went pretty well. Fitness is finally coming along. The last session I did 3 days ago on that same track at sea level was 5 times a mile, 5 times 1600, average 454 with a 3-minute rest. Had a nice little negative split, so I was able to run 450 on the last one. Not straining too much, but just getting that last leg turnover and spiking the heart rate over 90% maximum, things like that, as we taper down now for the Houston Marathon. But to be honest with you, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I've got my fingers crossed for good weather because I'm going to need it. But Coach Sandy's been great this whole segment. Things have been going according to plan. Still trying to just stay healthy, not get sick these last few weeks. And yeah, the purpose of today's workout is to keep the metabolism up, keep the muscle tension up in the legs, more of a maintenance type of workout. You see this a lot early on in our training plans at sagerunning.com. We do these up-tempo runs. They start off a little shorter. They generally progress to 6 miles or 8 miles. And it's not a super hard workout. It's more like 80 to 85% your maximum heart rate. Just a real strong, steady state type of effort. Some people would call it, we call it up tempo because it's not lactate threshold. It's not tempo run lactate threshold intensity. It's a notch below that. So depending on your marathon PR and your marathon time, what time range you're in, it could be really close to your marathon pace. I'd say most runners around 3 hours to 4 hours in the marathon or slower would be around marathon race pace. Whereas if you're faster than 3 hours, it's gonna be slightly slower than marathon race pace. For me, it's quite a bit slower than marathon race pace, especially at altitude up here on this path. But the goal is to get in a strong aerobic effort and to practice good form and not strain too much, but still get in, decent volume, decent amount of work, decent mileage before we really taper off here in the last 10 days. So it's really the goal. Probably do a couple strides after it as well, just to keep the fast twitch muscle fibers activated, keep the leg turnover running form nice and good, muscle tension up. But I'll carry this camera with me. Actually, I'm carrying the GoPro. It's a new GoPro Hero that you guys, Patreon supporters, helped me get a couple months ago, and hopefully the wind won't be too bad today. I'll give you some mile splits as we go along here. We'll do a little run loop around here on the East Boulder trails, head net uphill towards downtown Boulder more, and then kind of finish with a couple slightly more downhill miles, hopefully negative split it a bit. But it's a real feel good type of effort, and the data will be on Strava. I got my heart rate monitor on so you can see all the data there. So warmed up 3 miles, 5K, so let's roll into it. Got an old classic on today, the Hoka 11 Kona 2016 edition with the Drymax Sage Runner sock. Check them out. Alright, so I'm just gonna roll into this workout on the turn here. Yeah, it'll probably be a good 20 seconds per mile slower than marathon goal pace, 5:17 per mile, 5:18 per mile. So TQ pace, goal pace, 3:17 per kilometer. So we'll be quite a bit slower than that. Try to keep the heart rate pretty low, nice and relaxed. Just get in 6 miles or about 10K, and with some strides or hill sprints. Let's roll into it. Start off. Oh yeah, and we'll try to negative split it as well. Alright, so coming up on the first mile split here pretty soon. 2 mile split and a heart rate reading. .536. Heart rate is 156 right now. First mile, we'll go uphill a little now. Always one of my favorite views here. Alright, 235. Second mile, little uphill. This one will be the most hilly. Heart rate 157. Coming up on mile 3 here. 529. Turn around now. See what the heart rate is. Whew. 163. Feeling pretty good, pretty smooth. Not too bad. It's a nice day out. .526, mile 4. Heart rate 163. Alright, 523, mile 5. That was too fast. Gotta keep the heart rate in check. We'll cool it down this last mile. The important thing is not to go too hard. You gotta keep this moderate effort. Don't want to overtrain, don't want to strain. It's a little harder being back at altitude too. Kind of lost some of that adaptation, I think. So the heart rate started getting up close to 165 there. It's back down to 160 now. Wanted to keep it close to 160 for most of this. You'll see it on Strava though, don't worry. All right, finishing up here on the bridge. See what it is. 526, 32, 57 for 6 miles. Stop that. See the data on Strava. It's a little harder than I thought it would be, but heart rate data was fairly good. Flying yesterday, it never feels good to do a quality workout right after flying. Granted, we didn't have to travel that far, but back at altitude after 2 weeks at sea level, it does make a difference. And you know, I have a relatively low VO2 max for a lot of the runners that run the time ranges in the marathon have a higher VO2 max. I kind of am on the lower side, so I think I'm a little more sensitive to altitude. It's different conversions depending on if you're born and raised at altitude, how high up it is, things like that. But do a little 3 or 4 mile cool down jog. Don't have to do too many double runs anymore because I'm tapering my mileage, but next week will be a much bigger taper and no real hard workouts, just a medium long run this weekend, maybe 15 miles. Real relaxed and easy though, gotta rest up the legs and taper. Hopefully get that extra power and spring in my stride and my step for the Houston Marathon, and fingers crossed through the weather. Try not to get sick. Flu's going around, there's colds. You don't want to limit your exposure to big crowded areas. Don't want to get plenty of sleep. I actually didn't sleep very well last night. I was a little jet lagged. Something, too many espresso coffee beans maybe. But yeah, definitely try to sleep more. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Get your vitamin C in a natural way. Boost the immune system. Recover well, stay hydrated. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing to this series. Again, really appreciate your support. Definitely stay tuned for more stage running videos. Oh, and thanks to all the Patreon supporters for making this possible too. Really appreciate it heading into this new year. Hope your 2018 is off to a great start. See you next time.